welcome into another episode of Travel by David. I am your host, David, and today I've got a special guest with me. I've got my beautiful wife, Cindy. Say hello to the audience.
Hello, audience.
And she is going to help me with a breakdown of our last cruise that we did on Celebrity Reflection. We did an itinerary to Bimini, and we went to Nassau. It was a 4-night cruise. It was for someone's birthday.
It wasn't my birthday.
It was mine, and it was a big one. So what you can expect from this episode is to hear all about the ship, what we thought of the ship, what we liked, what we didn't like, what we thought about the itinerary, what we thought about the food, all of that stuff thrown in together. So let's just get started. Yep, Celebrity Reflection. Celebrity Reflection. Now, the target audience for Celebrity is usually what? What would you think?
An older group of people.
Mostly it's going to be
a little side of young.
Yeah. So on this ship, what do you think the average age was? What do you think?
Maybe 50. Do you think that was average age?
I don't know. It could have been. I think there was a good mix of.
I was the side of young.
Yeah, you were a little bit on the young side. There's not that much difference between us, but you look much younger than I do. So I think the average age was probably anywhere from 45 to 55, I would say. I don't think there was not a lot of much older people, and there was not a lot of much younger people. So I think that was a good average of it. Now, the Celebrity Reflection is a Solstice-class ship. It's got a capacity of about 3,046 passengers, crew of about 1,271. So it's got 12 passenger decks. It's a good ship. I thought it was a really good ship. It was very well taken care of. I thought the ship itself was really beautiful.
Yes, it was a good looking ship.
You think about the vibe on the ship. What do you think? The vibe was kind of just relaxing. If I could say anything, I think it was just relaxing.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It had some fun things to do to interact, but it wasn't just party all the time. You had to go find the parties if you wanted to party.
And my girl wants to party all the time. Oh, sorry. That's not her.
I had fun. The fun sing-alongs that we did and the silent disco. Those were some really fun nights. Happened later in the night. There was a late night club. That's where you saw the much younger crowd that was on the ship, I would imagine. We didn't really.
We ventured there maybe once.
I think once, and we left before that party really got started, or right as it got started, because I remember watching the guy with the big afro wig on that we actually couldn't figure out if it was his real hair or not.
That's true.
We saw him later and learned it definitely was a wig.
Definitely was a wig.
He was having a good time.
Well, as I said, we left out of Fort Lauderdale, and I was very impressed with the embarkation process.
Yes, that was very smooth process. Although what seems to be a theme based on friends that we have experienced the same thing, that even though we had finished our profile in the app and had added a picture, we ended up having to retake it at embarkation. And it happened to our friends too, who were a little frustrated because they had been traveling all morning and day, and she hadn't had a chance to freshen up. And where, you try to make sure you look really good in those pictures you upload, because every time you scan your card, that's what they're going to see.
They're going to see that photo. Exactly.
Thankfully, we had come in the night before, so I had gotten up and done some makeup and hair, because they want to take your pictures in front of green screens and all that stuff as you board the ship. So I kind of knew that was coming. But I did think it was interesting that seems to be a common theme, that you have to retake that picture for whatever reason.
Even with that, from the time we got out of our lift until the time we stepped foot on the ship, it was 15 minutes?
If that, yes.
If that.
It was very quick.
It was. And I thought it was very well ran. Taking our picture again. Okay, that's cool. I'm a little cheesy anyway, so it was fine with me. But I get it. But still, even with that, we were 15 minutes. Boom, we're on the ship. And It was great.
And then our muster drill, we were able to actually do before we got on the ship, as far as watching the videos and checking off all of those requirements, and then all we had to do was go straight to our station and check in, and we were ready to enjoy the ship.
Yeah, we got that
So
done right
even
away.
that part was very quick.
Yeah, I thought they did a really good job on embarkation, muster, very quick, very smooth. Everything was done great. I think they did a really great job on that. Now, we didn't have our luggage right away. Of course, that's going to happen over a period of time.
Mhm.
But we were able to go to our room, put our backpacks down, and just leave everything there. The room wasn't ready for us, and we actually ran into our room steward at that time and was like, "Hey,
Yes.
it's not ready. Oh, we know we get it. We're just getting out of here. We were just
But we
kind of."
did linger because I wanted to decorate for your big birthday.
This is true. We lingered a little
So,
bit
yeah,
longer.
that's, I think, a great thing to do if you're celebrating something or it's a certain time of year around a holiday. Bringing room decorations and magnets for the door, I think adds a fun.
A lot of people love to do that. We like to
Yeah,
do that. I think it does add a
yeah.
little bit to it. Plus, it helps you find your door when you're
It
trying to get back
definitely
because they all
does,
look the same.
yeah. It definitely does, although there were a lot of doors with 50s on them. Oh, sorry.
There were a lot of doors
I gave it away.
with the big birthdays on there. Yeah, they sure had
You can cut that out if you'd like
a
to.
lot of us on there. Why not? Who knows? They know that I'm an empty nester, and that's what I'm probably around that age. So anyway, so we did have a uh, balcony room. I think they call it a veranda, and so we had a veranda room on the eighth deck. It
Mm,
was comfortable. I've got a video out on our YouTube page. If you want to just take a look at the room, we filmed that. You guys can go there and check it out if you're thinking about getting on this ship. Because it was very comfortable.
it was. It was very comfortable.
Very comfortable. Like most ships, ship rooms be like, I got two plugs. I think that's all they had. They had no plugs by the bed. They had nothing like that. But look, it was fine. We survived. We could get through it. First world problems, right?
Exactly, that's what I think about cruising. It kinda helps you think more like a minimalist because you don't wanna overpack. The space is not huge, so you wanna make sure that you're not cramming things in your room and tripping over like, I think it just helps you live like a minimalist for that time period.
Yeah, I agree. So the cabin itself, we had a balcony. Balcony was just regular size of what we've seen on comparable to other ships. It was great to sit out there on the balcony, enjoy time out there, just watching the water as we cruise at a very slow pace.
Mhm.
But yeah, the room was great. The bathroom was great. I love the shower. Actually, was in the corner and it had the rounded glass, so you kind of felt like you were in a capsule.
Yes, especially because it was a what would you call it? Like a two-door
Yeah,
slide,
the
like,
yeah the double
open.
door. Yeah.
Um, it made you feel like you're walking out of a capsule for sure.
One thing I will say about this particular cabin, in the bathroom particularly, they had a lot of storage in the bathroom.
They did. They did. Because I think we left something this last time, and that's because they had a lot of storage, and we apparently didn't check it really well.
Yeah, I think you're right. We did leave something. So after we, dropped off our bags, we started to explore the ship. We also wanted to see if we could change our dining time
Mhm.
because we had booked, and when we booked, the only thing available was a late dining. We really didn't want to do that, so we went to the main dining room and asked if that could be changed, and they had something for us. We could change that to anytime dining, and we
Yes.
were we were cool with that.
Yeah, and which anytime dining just meant that we had to wait, kinda like you go into a local restaurant at home and you put your name in and you wait. And we never really had to wait super long.
No,
Yeah,
no, we didn't. I think the longest we waited was maybe 15 minutes.
15, 20 minutes
Yeah,
maybe.
maybe that. So it
Yeah.
wasn't bad at all, and we were able to get and we were able to get seated at the same section every night.
Mhm.
So we had the same waiter every night, and he was great. So yeah, it was really good. We did not do any specialty dining on this trip. We are not really foodies, so we enjoy food like most folks, and we like to try things, but we just didn't really want to spend any of the extra money to do specialty dining this time. We did get some good video that I'll put out later on some of the restaurants. I've actually got a couple on YouTube now of a couple of the restaurants that you could, the specialty restaurants that I was able to film. But we didn't partake in any of those. We just went to the main dining room each night, and I thought the food, while not out of this world, it wasn't bad.
Yeah, in comparison to our first cruise of this year, I would give it a 3 out of 5, where the other I felt was 5 out of 5 level.
In the main dining room, you think? Yeah,
Main dining room, yeah.
yeah. But again, it was very good food. We never left there thinking, "Oh, this was horrible," at all.
No,
We
no,
we never did, but nothing really blew us away.
no. It was good service. Our waiter was good at giving recommendations. There
He
was a
was.
dessert that we both looked at and thought, "There's no way that would taste good," and he convinced us to try it, and it actually was one of the best desserts we'd had all week.
Yeah, it really was.
It was really good. Of course, I enjoyed the couple we got to observe at dinner, because you end up, if you go around the same time, you end up eating with the same people around you. And we got to see this sweet older couple who, were 97 and 88, I believe,
Yeah,
and he was a World War II veteran. That was very interesting to see them, and, they were just so sweet. Couple goals for sure.
definitely a couple goals because this dude had a head full of hair,
Yes,
looked
they
looked
were there by
dapper.
themselves too, so it wasn't like they were there with their own family,
No,
and,
it's just the 2 of them.
it was impressive, is I guess more than interesting. It was impressive was the word I was
Very
really looking
impressive.
for, to hear them talk and hear their sweet story. And so it was funny, his they'd been married 52 years. Prior to that, he had been married to a witch for 16 years,
According to him, according
according
to
to
him.
him.
So so yeah. So
Um,
that was interesting, and that's
yeah,
some of the cool things about eating in the main dining room every
yeah.
night is that you kinda get to sit around the same people, know that you become if you're a talker like I am or like some other
Or
folks
just a
are.
people watcher. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not usually the talker, but I'm the people watcher, and then I'll usually tell you, like, "Hey, can you somehow figure out a way to, like, start conversation?"
Yeah. I'm the conversation
Like, I wanna
starter.
know more, I wanna get invested. Although, when we were, the morning of disembarking, we went to the main dining room. That was a first for us to go there for breakfast.
Mhm.
We're normally not morning people that we have to jump up and go get breakfast and coffee and so forth. Like, we'll get our coffee, but we don't have to, like, get up
Yeah,
with the sun.
we're not early birds and trying to
And
get out
so
there.
we had never really actually went to the main dining room for breakfast, but I will in the future now.
Mhm. Definitely. It was really good.
The food was, but I'm not a big buffet person. You know that. I've always been that way. Not a big germaphobe, but I do think about it.
Well, yeah, and you
It
have
it
to.
does, like, kinda gross me out a little bit. The food just sitting out there in the open air for who knows how long, and so many people, hundreds of people, thousands of people.
So anyway, back to our story on the
I'm
main
getting there.
dining room.
I'm getting there. You gotta give me a minute, Kelly Clarkson.
Uh,
It's an inside joke. Anyway, so, yeah, so to say all that, I really enjoyed going to the main dining room for breakfast, and especially because, again, I got to take interest in a fun conversation of ladies happening next to us. But it was fun, just listening to them
yeah,
talk about life. And
there was a particular story they were telling that
yes, there
Cindy got
was,
really interested
and they
in.
started making announcements for people to leave the ship, and one of her friends was like, "Come on with the story. I'm invested. I wanna hear what's gonna happen." And I leaned over, and that's when I did, the introvert actually spoke up and said, "Yes, I'm invested too."
So
So,
yeah,
and they let me be a part of it, so that was fun.
I just sat there and ate bacon and smiled and looked handsome. That's all I did. No, but we did go. I know you don't like the buffets, but we did go to the buffet.
Yes. And the food was good. That's just more a personal preference for me.
Yeah, I mean the food was.
And to say that, we did do another new thing for us too, is we went at almost midnight and got pizza.
We did after a show. We decided to go get pizza.
Yeah, it was our last night on the ship, and we're like, "Why not? Let's go get a midnight snack and eat pizza at midnight like we're teenagers again."
Yeah, so the Ocean View Cafe, it was open. It was, they had some good choices. I mean, I was really surprised at the choices that they had. And it was the food was again not spectacular, but not bad.
Right.
So and I like that they had a really good assortment of fruits and uh, veggies and different options that
Yes,
I
they did.
really did think was really good. I think for
Lots of desserts,
lots of desserts.
pastries.
But for an older ship and for the class of ship, I thought they had a lot to choose from.
They did. They did. Yeah. Overall, it's very good.
So let's talk about entertainment and activities. So the first night we get on the ship, we decided to go to a show, and the show was called Broken Strings.
Mhm.
I didn't know what to expect, but I will say that the
Yeah, I think
theater,
you didn't even wanna go.
I kind of didn't, but I'm glad you talked me into it because I really
Yeah.
enjoyed it. But the theater I thought was great. I really enjoyed the theater. It was more of a classical theater type, in my opinion.
Very comfortable. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
seats
good.
were comfortable. The stage
It was never overly
was great.
packed
No,
either, like,
no, it wasn't.
I was surprised by that, honestly.
It was not. But the show was fantastic. Great singers, great
Great
entertainers, the dancers,
dancers, yeah, were really good.
top-notch dancers. I
Yes.
really enjoyed the dancers. I thought they were
Well,
fantastic.
it's always impressive to watch someone that's dancing and singing, and, I mean, that takes a lot of hardcore work,
Absolutely, it does.
and I'm sure they have to do it in a fast amount of time, you know, turnover with entertainment, it changes, and they do different shows and things, so,
Yeah, and this was more of a Broadway style show, and I thought it was really cool. I really liked it.
yeah.
The second night, I was not so much into it.
I don't know why.
I have no idea why. I just wasn't. You wanna tell them what it was?
It, was a lady who had a beautiful voice.
She did.
She was very entertaining
She was.
as well as far as almost comedic, I guess, but it was a tribute to divas. So, obviously, we were singing a lot of songs that were I mean, they were all female artists, so a little more on the feminine side, and that's why you didn't like it.
Not that I don't like females,
No,
but I'm
not
just not drawn to that type of music.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
for me, it was not as an enjoyable show for me, just simply because I'm not drawn to that type of music.
yeah,
That's all it was. She was great. I'd rather listen to her talk than I would sing, just simply because I thought she was comedic, and she
yeah,
had the great, thick, New York accent that I really liked.
yes,
I
from
really liked that.
Brooklyn.
So, yeah, it was really cool. So yeah, that show wasn't for me, but Cindy really did enjoy it. So,
Yeah.
and a lot of other ladies around us enjoyed it too. They had a
Yes,
really good time.
yeah,
They had a really good time. Another show we saw was by the same cast that did the first show of Broken
mhm,
String. They did another show, and it was Feel the Funk. Is that what it was called?
I think so.
Something like that. Feel the Funk, and that one was awesome.
Yeah, it was really good 'cause it had a mix of your modern music with a little different kinda spin on it, I guess, and
Yeah, I mean
with
they kind of hit all of the generations of music. Dancing again, the dancers again were fantastic. Very, very good show. The musicians I thought were great. I
mhm.
thought they were fantastic as well. So the shows on that, I guess if I had to rate the shows all together overall, I would give it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. So I really did enjoy the shows. A couple other things that we did with activities. Of course, I don't think there's a good cruise ship out there if you don't do a silent disco.
I would agree. Those
You
are
know,
fun, yeah,
it's one of my favorite things to do is the
yeah,
silent disco. And I know some people might not be into that, but we really love it. We love to do that, especially when you can take those headphones off and listen to everybody singing all
yeah,
these different things. It's a wild mix. If you've never done a silent disco, put that on your list. Do one.
yes, it was a lot of fun. The ABBA sing-along was really good too.
The couple of the game shows they had were great. One of the things I thought was on this ship, you had it wasn't just a cruise director leading everything. It was other folks
Yeah,
who
that activity manager,
activity
yeah,
managers and things like that. So I thought that was really cool because you didn't just get the same person every time. You got a kind of a mix of different people leading the activities. And I thought that was really cool. I like that. When a cruise ship does that, I like that. Unless you have a really, 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 really good cruise director that you want to see. And let's
Mhm.
face it, they're out there.
Maybe
And
if he's from South Africa.
yeah, or the famous Dr. E. Whoever it is, if you've got a really great cruise director, you want to see them because they're really the entertainment.
Yeah.
They really are. But I like it when you do mix up and you have other activities leaders. I think it gives you more variety, and a lot of people can get involved. So I do like that part of it as well. So do you think was there any surprises? Was there anything that, as far as entertainment or activities that on the ship that maybe took you by surprise?
I think the 18 plus show that we went to took us by
I
surprise. That
think, yeah, that
it
one did.
was, we expected obviously it'd be a little risque, but it was like next level risque. And
Let's just say it. It was raunchy.
yes, okay, yes, it was very raunchy, and
We're not
we're
prudes.
not easily offended, but this was it. Yeah, it was cringy.
Yeah, it was not.
And we were sitting in an area that if we got up and left when they said, "If you get easily offended, you should leave," we weren't going to get up and
No, we weren't.
leave
No, we weren't. Listen,
when we saw how cringy it was.
we can take
Yeah,
a lot. I mean, we're not prudes by no means, and we understood that it was an all adult 18 over show.
yeah.
We just didn't know it was going to be.
And we've attended those on cruise ships
Yes,
before
we
and
have.
it not be anything,
Yeah,
that
we did not
bad.
expect what it was, and
So, yeah.
right out of the gate, it was
And the comedian
okay.
was a little much in that area too, but he was funny. He was
Yeah,
good.
I don't think the comedian was as raunchy as
Oh, no, no,
as
no, it's
the
that game show.
as the
No,
game
he
show.
was not. Mm-mm.
No, at all. I don't think so at all.
No.
No. And again, we went to the late show with the comedian was all adults, so we understood.
Yes,
We know
because he had done
what
he
we're
had
gonna
done a
get.
matinee family friendly
Right.
at one point. We
Yeah,
just didn't make it, JJ.
exactly. That one took us by surprise. We expected it to be adult, maybe R-rated. We didn't expect it to be
X-rated?
I don't know if it was X-rated, but it was close. It was pretty close. It was pretty close.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that one kinda took us by surprise. So let's move on to ports. We only had 2 stops on this trip, both in the Bahamas, so it was a 4-night Bahamas trip. We stopped in Bimini, and, of course, if you know Bimini, if you've been to Bimini, you know it only has 1, ship at a time, and the port is long, right? When you get off the ship, you can walk down the port, or you can take the trolley and go to wherever you're gonna go. Narrow island,
Mhm.
absolutely gorgeous.
Mhm. It had the free beach right at the port,
Mhm.
and what we chose to do was buy an all-day pass to the beach resort, which was worth it. It was totally worth it.
I think it was worth it. I think it was
It
worth it.
was beautiful.
The beach was beautiful. The water that day was spectacular. It the water, wasn't it was hardly moving.
Yeah.
I mean, the water
It
was
was
almost
calm,
still. I mean, it was
except when
calm.
that one ship came in, that commuter from Miami came in.
Yes.
That did ripple the water a little bit and catch some people off surprise, and thankfully, we weren't in the water during that, but it was entertaining to
It was
watch.
it was entertaining to watch people caught by surprise because,
Yeah.
like I said, the water was just calm as could be, clear as could be. The beach club itself had waiters out there, and this one waiter,
Oh, yeah, he was
he was
working his
working
tail
his
off.
tail off, man. He was so good, and he was working with people, even somebody who was close to us, who I thought was really a difficult person to work with. He
Yes,
was
she
calm
was
with
very
them.
rude, but he handled it well.
Yeah, he was great, and so I thought he was fantastic. The they had uh, they had drinks there that you could purchase. You did get a free uh, drink when you came in,
Bahama Mama.
Bahama Mama. But if you wanted to purchase drinks, they had that there for you, and they also had a pool. And one thing I thought that was pretty cool, when you walk in, you have, to the left was the family friendly
Mhm.
side, and to the right was adults only. Now, this adults only wasn't anything like what we're talking about with the game show. It
No.
was just, hey, there
Although
was
they
no
were blaring
kids.
some music that was
Yeah, there were no kids on that side, and some of the music they were playing was probably more adult. But on to the left was the family friendly side.
Mhm.
So if you had your children or anything over there, you could go on that side. And
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool that was available. I thought it
But
was really neat.
I have a hard time going to a pool when there's a beach right there.
So do
But
I.
there were a lot of people at the pool, but that beach water was just as clear as the pool water.
It was. It was. It looked almost the same, didn't it?
Yeah.
It really did.
I guess there's people that don't like the sand part of it, I guess, but yeah,
Plenty of chairs,
I loved it, yeah. Plenty of chairs, yeah, we had no issues
umbrellas,
with that.
no issues whatsoever. If you needed an umbrella, you just tell someone, they'll come, they would bring it out. It was really, I'm telling you, that beach was really, really good. That excursion was really
Yeah,
good.
because then we left there, we took the tram back to the shopping center.
Mhm.
We walked around the shopping center, it was nice, it's not not a lot of
No,
shops.
only one restaurant is really what I saw. Did you see any more? I think I saw
I
just
think that was it, and there was the ice cream shop.
yeah, the ice cream
There
shop
was an
and the
ice
one
cream shop,
restaurant.
and there was, like, a bar restaurant kind of
Yeah,
set up.
yeah, yeah. So
It wa
that's what we
it
saw.
was a beautiful island, and then from there, we were able to walk back
Right, we walked back
to
to
the
the ship.
port, yeah.
We didn't take the trolley back. We just walked
No,
back, and we're glad we did because as we're walking
yeah,
back, we got to catch a couple of fish that were out, watch a couple of fish out in the water and get a good picture of a stingray
mhm,
out there. I mean, again, because the water was so
mm,
clear, when we show it to people, we showed it to my parents or whomever, and it was like, it's like a pool out there. So
yeah,
yeah, it really
and
does.
there was, a really nice resort hotel casino. Was it
Mm-hmm.
casino?
Hilton. There was a Hilton hotel
Yes, that some
casino.
people, they chose to go do that
Yeah.
instead
So
of the beach resort.
Bimini was great. The next day was Nassau. We just decided to really, we weren't going to do an excursion that day. We wanted to enjoy the ship because our cruise was so short. We only had one sea day. We like to enjoy the ship, so we decided just to get off the ship early. I think early. I think we left at 9 ish. We got off the ship about 9 ish,
Yeah,
and we went to the port. And the port in Nassau is great. There's a lot of shops. There's some restaurants.
and that is definitely a long port too for anyone that
Yes.
has walking and difficult time with walking long distance. Might need a little assistance, but I think they did offer a tram. We just
There was a
chose to
tram.
walk it.
There was a tram, which and we're going back in November, and we'll have your folks with us. So
Mm,
we'll definitely have to make use of that tram then. And they
yeah.
do offer that. But that walk is long. But one thing I did like is it was covered. Most for the most part.
Yes, because you could be in the shade and yeah, or if
Yeah.
it were raining. Thankfully, it was a beautiful day both days that we
Gorgeous
were at
day.
ports.
Gorgeous day. We had a really good time just going through the
Yeah,
shops.
the shops were nice. It's when I found my nice, beautiful ring that's made out of a conch shell.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of that business. I'd give it a shout out, but
We got a picture of it.
yeah,
We got a picture of it. Maybe I'll put it in here.
definitely go back there in November.
Yeah. And then we did venture outside the port to go to the straw market.
Mhm.
And I will say, if you go to Nassau, go to the straw market. It's pretty cool.
Make sure you take enough cash. We didn't have as much cash on us as we thought we did, so
Right.
our shopping ended quickly.
And two, if you go and you've got cash, you can negotiate.
Yes, and they want you to negotiate.
They're wanting to make a sale. So be ready. They're going to ask you what you need, what do you want. And so just be ready for that.
Yes.
And if
Blessed are those that can go with the flow.
yeah,
That's the best motto to have,
totally,
and
totally.
just be careful if you start pointing at something, you start really intently looking at something, there will be someone there to try to
Sell
make a
you.
sale.
Exactly. Let's move on to service and the ship atmosphere. So what did you think about the crew?
The crew, they seemed good. I don't think really have any complaints there.
I don't have any complaints about the crew. I will say I have a little bit of a burr under my saddle on one thing is when you first get on the ship, there's a lot of upselling going on, and you
Oh,
have
the
to
first 24
the
hours,
first
yes,
24 and you
the first night.
yeah, and you have to be ready for that. But it's like every time you go somewhere, every time you do something, or if you order something, there's a lot of upselling going on, and I know that's their job. I'm not upset at the crew that they have to do that. It's what they have to do, but it's just, it's a hassle. So just be ready for that. But beyond that, the crew themselves, very friendly crew. Anywhere from waiters, anywhere to our room stewards, to bartenders, to anybody that we really had interaction with that was crew. I thought was really nice, very friendly people.
Mhm.
Um, Never did I once have a rude crew member.
No.
No, they were all very well doing their jobs, doing a great job, I thought.
Yeah, I will say the one thing that was a little frustrating is their app could be a little more robust, and the connecting to Wi-Fi was a difficult issue for both of us, especially me, because I had to end up going to guest services to get help,
Yeah, it did drop. It did
and
drop
it
us
did
quite a
drop
bit. Yeah,
continuously, yeah.
continuously dropped
Now
us.
granted, we didn't again, where they want to upsell, we went with the basic Wi-Fi, we didn't do a premium.
Right. And again, boy, the first day they'll let you know you should do the premium. You
Mhm,
should upgrade. No, we don't want to upgrade to the premium. We just wanted one. It was just the two of us. We wanted one device for each of us. That's all
mhm,
we needed. But man, it was a little sketchy.
yeah. Um, One thing we didn't talk about is the solarium, did we?
Well, let's talk about it now. We can.
I'm
So
sorry, did I jump ahead of you? You were talking
no,
about service, so I thought maybe
no,
we
we can jump into that. Let's just talk about that.
I really enjoyed the solarium.
Do you
It
want to tell them
was
what the solarium is?
it's basically indoor pool area. It's the best way to say it. I mean, it had nicer chairs than what you would see at the pool outside. Obviously, it was somewhat air conditioned. It was enclosed with glass all around. So you still got the sunshine, and it could get hot. I had to still put my sunscreen on. Never actually got in the pool, but when you were
No.
exploring the ship, I chilled out. And when we came back from Nassau, yeah, I just chilled out in a chair with a book and really enjoyed it. It was just very
While
relaxing.
I went out and worked and took pictures,
Yeah.
but I
Oh,
don't really know if I can call that work.
we did actually go in there another night before that though and got in the hot
We
tub.
did go get in the hot tub.
We learned that at night around 9 p.m. or so, it was not really heavily populated, so we were able to get in the hot tub.
Right. So there really wasn't. I never really. Speaking of not heavily populated, I never really felt crowded at any time on our ship.
No,
Did you?
just during silent disco and the grand foyer wasn't
Large.
really accommodating for a large crowd.
Yeah.
I will say that when there was activity going on there, you could get crammed up really easy, and
Yeah.
that was a popular activity, so yeah, that one got a but in general, no, there were sometimes some long wait times for the what they call airlifts, the elevators, and I think that's what it was called, airlift. But their elevators were nice, they were glass,
Hmm.
so you could look down and see what's going on, but quickly learned that better be careful as a female wearing a skirt.
Yeah.
Not to stand in the very far back as you're going up an elevator because everybody gonna see see your business.
Yep. So the glass elevators were there. Yeah. But the Grand Foyer, what like Cindy said, the Grand Foyer to me was way too small for a lot of the activities that they try to do. I guess if it's I guess for me, if you're gonna do a bigger event like that, you kind of need a bigger space, and I
Mhm.
don't feel like they had a big enough space for some of the things they were doing in there.
Yeah.
But again, all in all, I really still, other than the few times in there, well, really the only time really was the silent disco that we really kind of felt crowded. Everywhere else we went,
Yeah.
I don't think we had any crowding issues whatsoever.
No.
None. So let's talk about the dreaded day. The dreaded day.
Disembarkation day.
That day when you have to put your luggage out the night before, and
Mhm.
it's going to come in early morning. You're going to have to leave the ship. It's always difficult. We chose, like Cindy said earlier, we chose to go to the main dining room for breakfast while we waited on our group to be called out. We did not do the self leave option where we took our luggage. We had them take it off for us. So we had just enjoyed that morning, having breakfast, waiting for them to call us to leave the ship. And when we left, our luggage was there.
Yeah.
No problems whatsoever. Got
Yeah.
off the ship, went through customs, easy breezy. Now, we'll say once we got outside and we were waiting to get a lift, most people say Uber, but we usually use Lyft. We were waiting to get our lift. That was the only place I really felt really crowded.
Yes.
Was in the port trying to
So
get
it
out of
felt
there.
very chaotic. So obviously you've got thousands of people trying to find rides.
Yeah. So other than that, though, it was pretty seamless. I wouldn't. I don't think it was as bad at all.
No.
Customs and baggage was great. So again, very positive experience. So let's talk about the final verdict here. Final verdict and any tips we want to give to people who want to go on a celebrity reflection. We chose this trip for a birthday celebration.
Mhm.
We chose it on a holiday week, and we chose it. We didn't want to. We didn't want to do a 7-nighter this time or anything longer, so we chose the 4 nights. I'm glad we did. I'm glad we chose what we chose. So I guess the question is would we cruise this ship again?
Yes, I think I would.
I do too. I thought the ship was great. And I hear that Celebrity is going to be putting some money into the Solstice-class, and they're going to be upgrading those 5 ships in that class. So the Reflection will be part of that. I don't know at what stage they're going to do the Reflection, when it's going to come in, but even if you want to go on this ship before, I would do it. I would go back on this ship next week if we got a good deal.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean, obviously, I'd like to experience other ships, but if there's a good deal and opportunity to go, then I'm not opposed to it.
No, great ship.
We have to repeat the massage. We didn't talk about that either, but their spa was really nice and had one of our best massages. So much so that Mr. David was greeted as good morning when it was 3 p.m. in the afternoon because he was snoozing during his
Yeah,
massage.
it was a really good massage.
You're not going to want me on here again. I tell things on you.
That's okay. So toward the end, yeah, I did kind of drift away there, but it was really relaxing after the deep tissue portion was over, and, and the deep tissue portion was over, and I got the stones, and
And much like other ships, they offered a weekly pass to the spa, but in this case, it was a short trip. We opted out of
yeah, we
that.
opted out of that. We didn't do that this time, but we did, and something
We did take a
traditionally.
tour. Yeah.
Something traditionally that Cindy and I do is we do like to do a couples massage on a cruise ship. It's just something that we
That's what we would
like to
prefer
do.
over a specialty restaurant.
That is true. That is true. That is so true, Cindy. So who would we recommend this ship for?
Well, obviously, that age range that you said, that 45 to 55 and above. I mean, there were obviously people above that age on there too. There were
Right.
some younger ones too that just like to go and relax, that aren't looking for the water slides, the zip lines, the things like that that a lot of other ships offer.
Yeah. So I say
The
it's not for
slower pace
kids.
of life, just a getaway.
It's not for kids.
No,
No,
kids would kids would be bored.
kids would be bored.
They had some things for kids, I think, but I didn't even really I think they had a kids club.
They did.
Yeah.
They did. But
Again,
yeah,
when you don't have to think about kids, you don't look at that stuff as much.
yeah. But I didn't see a lot of kids either. I mostly saw people around our age. So I
Some
would.
teenagers, because we met a really nice young teenage man that young man that one family that we met. So there were some teenagers on there that were enjoying themselves.
They were, but I would say if overall recommendation for this would be, that 40s to 60s range, I would
Yeah.
say would be a good thing there. Or if you're, a little bit younger or older and you just want to go relax,
Yeah.
I would say that would be a ship for you.
Yeah.
So what would be our final rating out of 10, with 10 being the highest, 1 being the least? What will we rate our overall experience with Celebrity and the Reflection?
I'm gonna say 7.
I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go 7 as well. Had the app been a little bit better,
The app been better, the technology getting in the room because we've been spoiled with
we like Princess.
yeah,
So
with their medallion process.
yeah, and Virgin also has it as well. So with their
Um, yeah,
wristband,
so if the technology there was a little better.
yeah, the food was a little bit better.
Yeah.
Not that it was bad. It
It
just
wasn't bad, it just didn't seem to just knock your socks off.
no, no,
Yeah.
it did. So 7 out of 10, I think, is a fair rating.
We certainly did not starve.
No, no way. So 7 out of 10, I do think it's a fair rating, and 7 out
Yeah,
of 10 would lead us to go back.
exactly,
So
yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I think it was good enough. What would be a tip we would leave for future cruisers? Not just for our ship that we went on, but see,
Mm.
I give my opinion all the time. What's yours?
Let your husband plan everything and just go.
No? Well,
Yeah.
yeah. So, guys, I would just say
And
plan the trip.
yeah. Um, try to be a minimalist. I mean, I've already said that, like, I know it's hard for us ladies because we wanna look cute at dinner and have all the things, but try to take pieces that you can use multiple times, same jewelry, a couple different pieces just to just be able to pack light, be footloose and fancy free.
I would say that too. I would say, look, pick an itinerary that is something that you really want to do. Unless you just want to be on the ship, then you really don't have to worry about the itinerary. You just want to be on the ship.
Yeah.
You can do that too. But if you have something you really want to do, pick an itinerary that's good for you. I think looking at the ship, looking at the itinerary is way more important than all of the extra stuff. And then you can dive into the other things. So that would be what I would say. So again, guys, plan the trip. Ladies, just go enjoy it.
Second that.
So I just want to thank you guys for listening. I know this is a little bit longer than what I normally do, but we wanted to give you, our thoughts on the Celebrity Reflection. Overall, great experience. Would do again. If you like what you hear, please subscribe, leave a review, follow us on social media. We'd love to have some feedback from you. Just a little bit about what's coming up. Just had some friends get back from an Alaskan cruise on Princess. I hope to sit down with them soon to kind of get their experience. This was their very first cruise, and they went all out for the 7-day Alaska cruise. So hoping to have them on soon. So thanks again for listening. Have a great day.
Bye.